Whether this is your Ryu or this is your Ryu, the Ninja Gaiden games have always been known for their insane difficulty. This year, we're not just getting one, but two brand new Ninja Gaiden games. In today's video, we're taking on the newly released Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, getting all the achievements, unlocking every outfit, and seeing if it lives up to the legendary series. That means we'll need to beat the game on both normal and hard mode, achieve at least S rank on every mission, find all the collectibles. This game does have an assist mode which can be used to make the game incredibly easy, but for this video, we're doing it the hard way. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is a side-scrolling hack and slash that was marketed as taking the series back to its roots. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. This game is definitely its own beast. It felt more like the Messenger or Strider to me than the original Ninja Gaiden, but that's not inherently a bad thing. This game was developed by the Game Kitchen, who created the incredible Blasphemous games, and you can absolutely tell. I adore both Blasphemous games, so this got me extremely excited. They even took mechanics from the Blasphemous Bloodstained crossover DLC and expanded on them here, which I really appreciate. It's nice to see a developer use their knowledge from a previous IP for this new IP. The mechanics of the game are fairly straightforward. The first mission has you play as Ryu Hayabusa with a stripped-down moveset. Basic slash, jump, and wall climb. This is smart tutorial design, introducing the game's feel while differentiating characters through gameplay. There is a combo system in this game, but it works off of kills, not hits. And this feeds into the ranking system, which grades you on challenges, which are unique per level, such as no-hitting boss fights, collectibles, which are blue skulls, gold scarabs, and secret scrolls. Honestly, I really hate that this affects ranking. Performance, which boils down to time, total kills, and biggest combo. There are talismans that boost your rank at the cost of penalties, such as removing checkpoints, but you only need 2 of these max for S++, so even the hardest challenges in the game have customization options, which I appreciate. After our outing with Joe, we meet Kenji, our first main protagonist. The music immediately stood out to me on this level. Each level has incredibly catchy tunes I found myself humming during the grind. The music in the background of this video is all taken from the game. The dojo level serves as a training ground to show the players all of Kevin's unique moves. The main mechanics of this game are the guillotine, which is a move you use to bounce off of enemies in the environment, and the hypercharge, which is a power attack you can use for a limited time after gaining a charge. These are useful in combat as well as being used for traversal in certain levels, and they do get pretty creative with it. You can manually hypercharge as well at the cost of health, although I didn't find much use for this even in hard mode. We do also have a dodge roll now, which is one of the more modern mechanics in this game that I'm sure some OG fans were not happy with. You even have a special lunge attack you can do out of a dodge, and when you dodge jump, you get a special attack animation as well. I'm honestly glad they didn't put a parry mechanic in, because that's Blasphemous's thing. The first boss of the game is freaking Ryu Hayabusa. Yes, that Ryu Hayabusa. And he even flying swallows your ass. You don't have to beat this fight, but it is a challenge, which means we'll need to do it for the S rank eventually. This fight honestly made this one of the hardest stages to S rank, but let's beat the game before we talk about that. The dojo falls under attack, and we have to run through a burning village for our first real level. The color palette and sprite work in this game are really eye-catching, and I love a lot of the backgrounds in certain areas. I don't often find myself gazing into the distance in 2D platformers, but there were a few times I just stopped and smelled the roses in this game. The enemies you fight will range from humans to fiends, and even military equipment, much like previous Ninja Gaiden games. Our first boss is named Gurtha, although I kept calling him Urkel for some reason, and he introduces a recurring theme I quite like in this game. See, there are a few bosses in this game that you fight multiple times, and each time you fight them, they either fight in an arena that makes you rethink the way you approach the fight, or just get outright new moves. I wish they did this with more bosses in the game, but I do like what was present quite a lot. On normal, none of these bosses are too hard, and you can equip talismans to make your character even stronger. The way you unlock these talismans is by both getting certain ranks on levels, none of them too hard, and by purchasing them with the golden scarabs you find scattered throughout the levels. There's even triple scarabs. After we play through a few levels with Kenji, we get to take control of the second main protagonist of the game, Kumori. Kumori is a member of the Black Spider Clan, a rival clan to the Hayabusa ninja clan. She plays largely the same, though she has a ranged kunai attack instead of a sword that's just strictly better, it seems. She can also guillotine, and her dodge attacks shoot kunai to both sides. Her dodge jump attack throws 3 kunai out, which can be useful when going for fast runs sometimes. This level is much more vertical than the others we've seen so far, and I like how many different environments there are in this game. Kumori's boss is this beetle lady whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, and this is one of the bosses you'll need to learn very well if you want to S-rank the game. Each time you fight this boss, the level will have the challenge, defeat the boss without getting hit. One thing the game doesn't tell you, however, is that hypercharges do not count as getting hit. This means you can basically just loop her with hypercharge stuns after getting her low enough for a free win. The next level is an auto-scrolling motorcycle section, which really reminded me of Mega Man X4's auto-scrolling section. There are pickups on these levels, but the game gives you a decent heads up, so they aren't too hard to see coming. This is where the plot really starts to come together, as both Kevin and Kumori are captured by demons and must fuse together. Kevin asks if Kumori is inside yet, and now you get to play as both characters at once. Now the game really just snowballs as we play as this combined character for the rest of the game. Your main moveset is based around Kenji now, but by using your ki meter, Kumori can throw her kunai, giving you access to both ranged and melee attacks. There are also little sections in most of the levels where you get to play as Kumori on a timer, trying to find collectibles or complete puzzles before it runs out. She even has these little eyes she needs to use for platforming that make these sections stand out a bit. This mechanic really reminded me of the Bloodstained Blasphemous crossover I mentioned earlier, where you would have to enter these mirrors and complete timed sections. The next mission serves as another tutorial of sorts for our new combined powers. Hypercharge is a bit more in-depth now, and we also have access to spider weapons and our Ragebound art, which is just an ultimate attack. There are two types of hypercharges we will need to look out for, pink and blue. The pink ones mean we need to kill the enemy with a ranged attack to get a charge, where the blue ones mean we need to kill them with a melee attack. Once you have a hypercharge, your next basic melee or kunai will have the buff, regardless of which color charge you picked up. In the next level, you'll notice there's spots where you have to guillotine to get across, but these enemies respawn, which was smart thinking by the devs. But I also wish they would have used respawning enemies a bit more from a challenge perspective, seeing as the enemies in the NES series would respawn if their spawn point went off screen and back on again. The Hydra boss you fight after teaming up mirrors your dual nature with pink and blue variants that give you different hypercharge windows. The background in this section is also stunning. We managed to beat the boss, and the plot at this point is find the 3 magical MacGuffins so we can fight the Demon Lord himself. The story is very basic, but I do like the quippy dialogue between the two characters, and how their separate motivations and personalities are apparent. We get to choose between 3 levels at this point, and I go with construction site first, just because I thought it looked cool. I realized at this point just how different each level was, and I really like that each level has a sense of identity both aesthetically and mechanically. In this construction site, there's these large screens you fight behind, which is a really cool visual effect, and we have to interact with different machinery in the level. We fight the Beetle Girl again, and the fight is largely the same, but is a bit harder, just like the Girthka fight earlier. This is another boss we will need to no damage, but the same tactic as before works with hypercharges. Next, I head to the Pirate Cave, and I really like how we have to use these cannons to open new areas. Kumori even teases Kevin about liking pirates, which is really cute. The water in this level is oddly lower FPS than everything else. Maybe it's just a trick of the eyes, but it kind of hurt to look at, to be honest. I also learned here we can do infinites on the big guys with guillotines, although this is a really inefficient way to kill them. There's also a unique enemy on this level, these little piranha dudes that only show up when you're near them. There's a section where we need to run from a tentacle and you need to bounce off it, which is another thing that's unique to this level. All in all, this level really gave me Symphony of the Night vibes, and I quite enjoyed the boss fight in this level as well. Our third crystal lies in a more traditional temple style level, and this also has plenty of unique mechanics. This is another level that uses more verticality than most, and there's these really cool samurai dudes with spears that pissed me off really bad at first, honestly. This is probably my least favorite boss in the game, and focuses mostly on the hypercharge mechanic. My problem with this boss is I feel like I almost never have time to hit these crystals 3 times before he comes charging from downtown like Ryu and Sigma. But all in all, the fight isn't too hard, as long as you prioritize dodging. Real quick, if you guys enjoy this kind of content and want to see more videos like this, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future uploads. I've started doing challenge runs on the channel as well, and I stream Monday through Wednesday on Twitch. Now back to the video. With all 3 crystals, we can head back to Muramasa, but the CIA is already here. Oh no! They capture us, and this level is kind of annoying actually, especially this part with all the gas leaks and spikes and projectiles, but the enemy design is really cool. I especially like these dual sword dudes. We fight a frickin' battleship as the boss, which is sick. It reminded me of a Mega Man mini boss, and next we have another auto-scroller level. This one even more reminiscent of the amazing MMX4 level, and we head to the city. I think my favorite part of this level is how the billboards in the background have dev and publisher logos. It's a fun way to advertise your company made the game without having to stop the entire thing. The CIA gets fucked up by this demon, and this boss fight made me realize an extremely strong tactic that will really help when we do hard mode and S ranks. You can actually swing your sword and shoot your kunai at the same time, which can drastically increase your damage output. I remapped the kunai to triangle/Y at this point, so it was easier to hit both buttons at the same time. After we defeat the Demon Lord, we need to choose who will stay behind and who will escape. The ending of the game actually does change depending on who you pick, and there's even some credits spattered throughout the level you run through, which again is a creative way to do this. Kumori goes to Kenji's masters, while Kenji heads to the Black Spider HQ to deliver the bad news. I guess they grew close together after all. Aww. During the Close the Gate section, we get infinite hypercharges and are completely invincible due to the power of friendship. I did question the music choice for the end credits, but whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Now that we've finished our first playthrough, we unlock hard mode, as well as some new skins for the characters. There's also an achievement for each ending, but you can just go back and do that whenever. Oddly, there is actually no achievement for S ranking all missions. However, you do get special outfits, so I considered that part of my 100% playthrough. I decide to go for S ranks on normal next to get my chops up. The hardest challenges are definitely the ones for not getting hit, particularly during the first Kevin/Kumori team-up mission and the Beetle Lady boss fights. This also makes the Ryu boss really annoying, since you have to go through the level without getting hit, and with the super hard boss fight. Like I mentioned before, I also started to really hate how the collectibles counted toward your rank. They just felt like such a nuisance to remember, and some of them you need to go out of your way enough for. It's really easy to do everything else needed to S rank the mission and still fail due to missing a collectible. 2 talismans really helped me while grinding these out, and those were the ones that give you more damage at low health, and the one that heals you for combos over 3. I went into this with the intention of not using any challenge talismans to get the S rank, and I was successful for the entirety of normal mode, but at some point in hard mode, I did have to go back on this. The helicopter level was kind of hard for me to S rank because I seemingly got 2 less kills on the finish screen than it was showing me on the pause menu, and this is one of those levels that's very strict about how many enemies you need to kill to get that S rank. The auto-scrollers are also very strict since they're so short, and you have to take out essentially every enemy, making it easier to miss the collectibles you can't go back for. Another notably hard one for me was the level Super Express to Hell. The hardest part was definitely memorizing this bullet train section to no-hit it. However, one nice thing is that in hard mode, it's almost identical to normal, so you don't need to memorize 2 enemy layouts on the same spot, thank goodness. While I was grinding out S ranks, I actually managed to unlock the Scarab and Skull achievements by getting the same ones over and over again, which seems like an oversight to me, but we'll take it. After getting all the collectibles and clearing out Muramasa's shop, I decided to start hard mode. At this point, I still wasn't sure if I would S rank everything, since I do want to get at least one more Ninja Gaiden video out before the 4th game. As far as achievements go, all we have left now is one S++ ranking, which I save for the very end, the secret ending in hard mode, and slaying 7 enemies with a single attack. Hard mode is quite a bit more challenging, with new hazards and even palette-swapped enemies that hit harder and have new abilities, like these hoppy dudes exploding when they die now. The boss fights are also more difficult. Girthka, for instance, has an entirely different boss arena that changes the way you approach the fight. You also need to get all the collectibles again, as hard mode is treated like a new playthrough. The collectibles are at least in the same spots for the most part, and I do like this, as the challenge would sort of be lost if you had your entire kit. I know a lot of people are just going to use assist mode anyway, since you can, but it feels like cheating because it basically is. At this point, I decide to head back and mop up S ranks real quick, since the black and gold Kenji outfit is just so cool looking, and at that point, I decided I was going to eventually S rank all the hard mode missions as well. The secret levels seem to have more strict requirements, but basically boil down to not dying, not getting hit in Kumori sections, keeping your combo up, and getting to the end as quick as possible. They have patched this out at this point, but when I was playing, I had to replay the final mission and watch the S rank rolls for all the levels to get the skin. It was satisfying to see this, however, so not a big deal. Great footage for the video as well. Hard mode is largely the same, just way harder, and there is a secret level and secret ending after you beat the last boss. The secret level is essentially a boss rush, but there are challenges which coincide with challenges we had for the same bosses earlier, which is a neat little touch. Depending who escapes, the other is left behind for the boss rush, and Kumori has a massive advantage here due to her infinite ranged attacks. Now for the hardest part of this entire 100%, getting S rank on every single hard mode mission. From what I can tell, you don't actually get anything for S+ or S++, but let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. I get the 7 kills in 1 hit achievement on level 4-4, just run around and stack these little crawly dudes on you until there's a ton of them and do a quick slash. Getting a hypercharge helps with the range, but definitely isn't necessary. Unsurprisingly, but also ironically, the dojo and the little training level for the duo powers were the hardest for me to S rank on hard mode, hands down. The dojo is way more challenging than before, and you have to do some pretty difficult platforming perfectly and quickly to not drop your combo. The Ryu fight isn't any more difficult, I don't think, but the psychological pressure of knowing you'll have to redo the dojo again if you fail really messed with me. There's also this stupid dummy to your left, right as you start the level, and you have to kill it for the S rank. I was so confused at first when I beat Ryu and still didn't S rank, and this was after he cheated me out of a win right before too, so I was super salty at this point. Like all things in this game, persistence is key. Or assist mode, I guess, if you're a cheater. The mission that pushed me into needing to use a challenge talisman was the one with the Hydra. For some reason, the game says you need like 215 kills, and I have no idea how you're supposed to do that without dying, which would absolutely take too long. Turns out, this is something they patched after my playthrough was done as well. Since I had to use a challenge talisman for this level, I just decided to use it for the rest of the run. This made getting the S ranks even easier than I would have assumed. I even died a few times on levels and was well within the S ranking. I think the talismans give you a bit more than just 1 letter grade, but I could be wrong. S ranking hard is pretty much the same as normal, just more difficult and with higher kill and combo numbers. Again, we need to do the boss gauntlet one more time before unlocking the black and gold Kumori skin. The gold kunai looks super cool. Now we can get our final achievement and cap off this wonderful experience. I decide to S++ the Joe mission, cause why not? And it's pretty easy to find 2 talismans that don't cause too big of a detriment. Who needs bonfires? I mean checkpoints. Now I have officially become a Master Ninja. This game was really fun to complete, as well as a decent challenge without assist mode. I would probably put it on a 7 or 8 out of 10 to 100% as far as difficulty goes. But I personally don't think it's nearly as hard as the other games in the series, 2D and 3D. If you use assist mode, I would put that score down to a 2 or 3 since you're basically cheating, and I kind of wish they didn't let you unlock achievements with assist mode on. This will make it tempting for people that could definitely complete the game without assist mode to just use it anyway. There is something to be said for customization and accessibility, but things like this do belittle the feeling of success somewhat. I do appreciate that the achievements weren't just generically 100% the game, and there's something special you get for keeping at it, even after getting all the achievements in the form of the S-rank costumes. You don't have to do it, but you also get something really cool, so it's not just a waste of time. I think this game balanced casual and completionist playthroughs quite well, and I had an absolute blast on Kevin and Kumori's journey. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe so you don't miss my future content. Let me know what game you think I should 100% next in the comments below. Thanks for watching, love you guys.